Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're doing something really fun. We're going to peel back the highly visible layers of the world's most famous fast food brand to reveal the hidden financial engines that are actually driving its unbelievable success. I mean, we all know the golden arches, right? We all know the fries. But the mechanics operating just beneath the surface, they are literally a business masterclass. So, let me ask you a really simple question. What business is McDonald's actually in? Your immediate instinct is probably to say, well, they're burger joint. They sell fast food. And, on the surface, you're absolutely right. But if we contrast that obvious assumption of a simple restaurant chain with the massive corporate reality we're about to uncover, you're going to see that those burgers and fries are just the tip of a very, very large and highly profitable iceberg.
All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to cover 1. The global branding machine. 2. Mastering daily operations. 3. The supply chain engine. 4. The power of franchising. And finally, number 5, the real estate secret.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the global branding machine.
Think about the literal physical cost of the ingredients in a standard burger. You got a bun, a beef patty, a pickle, maybe a little squirt of ketchup. The raw material cost is incredibly low. But you aren't just paying for the calories, are you? You're paying for the intangible value generated by decades of brilliant, unrelenting global marketing. That huge gap between the cost of that physical burger and the perceived value of the brand, that is exactly where the magic starts.
To build that immense value, the brand relies on a few absolutely crucial cornerstones. First, you have the golden arches, which are practically universally recognized. You have incredibly consistent global messaging, highly emotional marketing aimed directly at families and nostalgia, and just unmatched brand recognition. The key takeaway here is that these highly visible marketing pillars create total global trust. They guarantee that a customer knows exactly what to expect, whether they're ordering a meal in Tokyo, Japan, or a drive-thru in Texas.
Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Daily Operations.
The absolute secret sauce here is relentless standardization. The bun is perfectly toasted. Exact portions of condiments are applied. No more, no less. The patty is cooked on a highly specific timer, and the whole thing is rapidly wrapped and served. By treating their kitchens less like traditional restaurants and more like highly tuned manufacturing assembly lines, they create unmatched speed, efficiency, and most importantly, total consistency for the customer.
Up next, Section 3, the supply chain engine. Just track the highly efficient real-world journey of a single, humble potato. It starts out at a contracted farm, moves to a massive processing facility to be cut and flash frozen to exact specifications, enters a massive global distribution network, and finally lands perfectly in a restaurant fryer. This beautifully unified supply chain guarantees that their famous fries taste absolutely identical no matter where you are on Earth. It's honestly a miracle of modern logistics.
All right, diving into Section 4, the power of franchising.
Now this is where things get really fascinating. We're officially shifting from the business of making food to the business of making money. We are entering the hidden financial engine of the whole operation. To understand this, we need to clearly define franchising. Basically, it's a business model where independent operators, everyday people with some capital, pay upfront fees and ongoing royalties to use a parent company's brand, their operational handbook, and that amazing supply chain we just talked about. This model is a total game changer for growth. It allows the main corporation to scale globally using other people's capital and other people's daily management labor.
Let's actually break down why this matters so much. If the corporation owns a store directly, sure, they get all the revenue. But they also have to bear all the high operational costs, right? Labor, food waste, utility bills, the whole shebang. But look at the franchise structure. The corporation collects steady, predictable franchise fees and royalties with incredibly low operational costs to themselves. Licensing the brand out to local franchisees is just a far more stable, predictable, and lucrative profit center than trying to run every single restaurant directly.
And finally, we've reached Section 5, the real estate secret. McDonald's is the real estate company. I know, actually hearing that sounds completely counterintuitive, but this core premise is the absolute truth of their corporate strategy. The entire empire ultimately revolves around land ownership rather than just the buying and selling of beef and potatoes.
over $40 billion. That staggering figure represents the value of the land and buildings they own globally. Here's how the secret actually works. The corporation buys up the absolute best prime corner lots and real estate locations. They own the land. Then, they lease that exact land back to their franchisees at a massive markup. So the franchisee is busy running the burger business, but the corporation is acting as their landlord, securing immense, long-term, virtually guaranteed wealth.
When you break down the actual revenue sources, it's wild. The overwhelming bulk of corporate profit actually comes from acting as a highly savvy commercial landlord, collecting rent and franchise fees, rather than acting as a fast food chef making money off actual food sales. Honestly, the burgers merely exist to ensure the tenant, the franchisee, can always pay their rent.
Kinda completely changes how you look at that drive-thru window, doesn't it? So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought to ponder. If a global fast food giant is actually a cleverly disguised real estate empire, what other massive brands that you interact with every single day are secretly playing a completely different game behind the scenes? Keep your eyes open, look beneath the surface, and never assume a business is only exactly what it appears to be. Thanks for joining me.